Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This is another installment of our real estate market update from across the country and in your town. And we're actually in Canada on this episode. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place for professionals and entrepreneurs where they publish to grow their businesses and leave a legacy. Joining me today is James Knull. He's a realtor in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, also servicing Vancouver, British Columbia. James, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you so much, Mark. I'm thrilled to be here. I appreciate you having me as a guest.
James, tell us a little bit about your business and specifically the types of folks that you help.
Absolutely. We are a realtor firm based in Edmonton with an office in Vancouver. So we service the Western Canadian market with a heavy focus on investment properties, residential real estate primarily. So things like houses with secondary suites, fourplexes, multifamily apartment buildings. We work with developers. We work with people that flip houses. So if you're looking at property that's income producing and you're interested in being profit motivated when it comes to doing investment real estate, that's our area of expertise.
Right on. So let's jump right into the elephant in the room. People are wanting to know, how the pandemic has affected your area specifically. What did you see when everything got shut down?
Well, when everything got shut down, we noticed a very sharp decline in overall market activity, which had a lot of people concerned that a decline of market pricing was short to follow. However, we didn't quite see that happen. Once things started to ease up again at the end of May and early June, we found there was a huge spike in market activity, lots of transactions, prices didn't really soften, and it was business as usual. Now, in Edmonton, Alberta, it's been a very depressed market for about 5 years. The Alberta economy is very resource-based, heavily in the energy sector, and with the global oil economy not being particularly strong, it has impacted pricing in Edmonton. However, COVID itself didn't really impact things that much. In fact, if you took a glance at the market stats over the last 45 days here in Edmonton, they look almost identical to last year at this time. So it's been a very similar marketplace, and it's really kind of come into a equilibrium of business as usual. In Vancouver, very, very similar. There was a slight market lull happening, and then COVID caused everybody to pause for a moment. And as soon as things started lightening up again, the buying activity resumed. Vancouver's a much more competitive market with lots of multiple offer situations and with price acceleration. And so we are seeing heading into the fall, a lot of our buyers having to be very competitive, often against other buyers in order to acquire good properties.
When people started to come back into the market and they were concerned about price declining on real estate, what do you think caused the change? Like, why'd they get back in? Why did prices go up? And what are people's priorities today?
I would say that it was a basic function of supply and demand. There was a lot of pent-up demand because people who wanted to buy anyways, who had plans to move in April and May, put those plans on hold to wait and see what was going to happen. And then an abnormally high amount of buyers entered the marketplace in June compared to historical market trends. Because there was a much higher amount of demand because of all those buyers, it just really drove the marketplace in both urban centers. And so that it created a push of activity where instead of the pricing softening, the pricing stayed very strong and stable, simply because there were more buyers than there were sellers in the marketplace.
How long do you feel this window of opportunity is going to last? And what would be your number one piece of advice for both buyers and sellers that's more important today than ever before?
Well, in our Canadian marketplace, we were very fortunate to have the federal government step in with a lot of different government supports for both small businesses and working individuals. And we also had a mortgage deferral program that lasted 6 months starting in March, which means that the banks had to give people a 6-month break on making their mortgage payments. Now, all of those programs are looking like they're going to be expiring over the next 45 to 75 days. And when that happens, I think we're going to see, from a buying perspective, a huge opportunity come into the marketplace because individuals who are in a state of financial need to be able to sell their properties quickly are going to start to emerge as those mortgage payments kick back in and as the government support to their income starts to recede. So my advice to the investor-minded individuals would be keep an eye out in the wintertime for opportunities and deals to start presenting themselves, because I think there's going to be a great number of individuals who are going to need to liquidate their property to access the equity in their home.
James, you have a lot of great information to share. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you even got started in real estate. What inspired you?
That's an awesome question. And the way that I got started was just some advice from my family. They said, hey, if you're not going to be leaving Edmonton, why not buy a house and rent the rooms out to your friends? So my first property was basically a frat house with my buddies. And I was able to live for free because they paid the rent and the cost of living there. So eventually I thought to myself, hey, this is a great system. I started to buy more income properties, and I found such a passion for real estate that I got my real estate license as a realtor. And, over the past 15 years, I've acquired close to 300 rental units in the Western Canadian marketplace. And as a realtor, I've grown my firm to a team of 8 realtors in the Edmonton market and 6 in the Vancouver market. And we couldn't be more thrilled to just talk about real estate all day long. Everybody I surround myself with is a very passionate professional. Everybody's investing, everybody's cutting their own deals, working on their own flips, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just a great industry to be in a business that I get more passionate about every single year.
That's terrific. So that frat house is quite a light bulb moment for you that got you going down that path.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it was the perfect blend of having an awesome time with my buddies and making a smart financial decision. And, living rent free in my early 20s was a great place to be. And I just understood that was the power of owning income property. If you're keeping an eye on cash flow, that cash flow can create a really great lifestyle. And it all started from there.
That's fantastic. I love that story. James, for folks listening that are in your area and could use your help, how do they find you online and connect with you?
I would say the easiest place to start would just be our website. It's very, very user-friendly with a way to get a hold of us, email, phone number, etc. The name of our company is the Mogul Realty Group. So our website is www.mogul, which is MOGUL, for Realty Group. So mogulrg.com.
James, I really appreciate your time and your advice sharing with our listeners today. I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. And just a big hello to everybody tuning in.
This segment was brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place for professionals and entrepreneurs to publish, to grow their businesses and leave a legacy. Whether it's your first book or your next book, go to booksgrowbusiness.com. And that's all for now. Join me on my next episode and my next expert spotlight. I'm Mark Imperial.